Song of the Deep. Song of the Deep is I guess for lack of a better word, a metroidvania game that's available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, I think.
She dreamt every night of the mysteries that lay beneath. Her father was a fisherman. Each day he went out to sea, and each night Merrin waited at the rocky cliff edge, holding up a candle to guide him safely home. The two
pretty
of them
bright
were
candle.
poor. Their roof was leaky, and they sometimes went hungry. But as long as they had each other, Merrin knew they would be okay. At night, her father sang her songs about his great adventures. He sang of giant leviathan serpents, haunted caves, and a lost city of gold beneath the sea. Merrin knew the stories weren't real, but she loved to listen to them. She drifted off to sleep, imagining the wonders of the world below. And her life continued that way, simply and happily. Until one night, her father didn't return. Merrin held up her candle at the cliff's edge all through the night, staring out at the empty sea. She shivered in the cold wind as she watched for him all the next day. Her eyes welled with tears as night fell again and there was still no sign of her father.
Okay, so that was a bit of exposition. So most of the game takes place, you are in this small vessel that she puts together herself, and you have a claw, which is used to grab objects. It's also offensive.
Reminded her of her father's lullabies about the brave and beautiful Merrows.
So you just saw her put the head back on that statue. That's something that you'll be doing a lot of as you play Song of the Deep. And the game kind of throws you into some combat early on, and you only have the claw initially.
On his back, he carried a vast array of odd-looking treasures. The crab seemed to like shiny objects. Maybe he would be willing to make a trade.
So as the game progresses, you can upgrade your claw and how you regenerate some health.
And made a quick modification to her magnetic claw. As Merrin explored, she sketched the terrain on a sheet of cartography.
And the map is one of the definite strong
Her father
points.
taught her that those who make maps are never lost.
The map definitely is something that you have to frequently use it in order to play the game, but games can have really bad maps. This game certainly did not have a bad map. Provided a good amount of detail. And eventually we get a boost jet, which lets you temporarily just boost, and then your ship will kind of glow red, and it's like a cooldown.
A glowing swirl in the water tugged at Merrin's sob. Was this a Tyne vortex?
Tyne vortex is just a way to warp from one area to the next. So, if you can't tell already, a lot of love went into this game, which makes parts of it sort of ironic.
Even the stinging enemies seem to avoid them.
The art style, I mean, it's a nice looking game. There's occasionally some performance, some hiccups, some frame rate issues, but nothing that's insurmountable. The combat certainly, it gets more interesting, but the combat kinda is just there. The real issue with the game is really more of just the repetitiveness of some of the puzzles. Like as you see here, just taking the bombs along with you and blowing up sections. You have to do a lot of that. And I found that I would do things or just new things for too long, or I lost interest. There's that huge spider boss early on, and you have the Tyne torpedo is a projectile, and you'll get several of those.
In front of Merrin and waved his tail eagerly. He wanted her to follow.
I was looking for sort of a pattern where, okay, I'm getting these new abilities as a boss fight. Like, the first boss fight wasn't great, but it was fun. And I was looking forward to another one. And I waited and waited. And it just, that flow and rhythm never really came. And that was sort of a takeaway.
she noticed bubbles coming out of the shell around her neck. Putting it to her mouth, she gently breathed in and felt the air fill her cheeks.
And the voiceovers are done well. The music is really nice and tranquil. You do get out of the craft, and you'll be solving more puzzles as Marin herself. Once you get like the knife, which can also slash barnacles, there's some mirror puzzles that you'll be engaged in, and those are pretty fun until they're not. So what you'll find is that they'll take something you do, like with the puzzles, and then there might be a slight variation on it, and then like another lengthy section where you're using that again. It kind of got a little, I kind of wanted the story to progress a bit. It kept feeling like the game would point me in a direction. Hey, go to this thing. And you get there and it's really nothing that important. Hey, go to this thing. And it just, the carrot and the stick just kept getting further and further away.
She bolted the emitter into the roof of the sub. Maybe she could find a way to put it to good use.
The sonar is pretty cool. Sonar can be used to, I guess similar, like an echolocation kind of thing. You can kind of see in areas that are dark or your vision is obstructed. And, the puzzles are there. They're not overly challenging. It's just, because you are also moving underwater, maybe that might be it too, where you just, well, maybe, I shouldn't say you, I just say me. I just felt like I don't want to do this anymore. Like, just let me get to the point, and which is unfortunate because this game checks so many boxes. Like, it's not like it isn't like it was completely rushed or like no one cared about it. Like, a lot of care was put into how it looked and the music and the voiceovers. Yeah. And eventually you'll get 3 different types of projectiles. You got the lightning, tine energy, like a lava, and then an ice. And those are also used within some of the puzzles where the ice can make objects float. You just need to get them into a place where you can make them explode. Eventually. There's some there were some puzzles that certainly stood out. Like, oh, that's unique. It's challenging. I enjoyed that. I'm doing it again because I messed up. But at least I know what I'm doing. Nothing will get you stuck for too long. It just feels like, because the combat really isn't all that great. If you're not really enjoying the puzzles, you're not really enjoying the combat on the way to the puzzles, and then you're not really going to enjoy the combat after the puzzle. And then you'll get to a point where the game is just pointing you in 3 different directions, and you just want to tap out. Not because it's horrible, not because it's the worst game ever. Nothing that hyperbolic. It's just, there's some element that it's just missing. Let's be the combat. I just found I just wanted to get to the end. It painted an interesting picture. A girl looking for her father. I get it. It's just because some of the puzzles stayed around too long, and then the combat really isn't all that great, and then there's really not enough boss battles. That just made me kind of run out of just patience with it. So, Song of the Deep it's not a bad game. It's a really well made, well produced, okay game. I guess that's the way I can put it. So, I don't know. Feel free to like, subscribe. If you click on either one of these videos, you can check out different playlists of the multitude of videos that I've done. Also check out the podcast and check out GameEnthus.com. That's it.